Hello everyone and welcome to the next in our series of daily origami for YouTube. Today we're going to continue with our theme of looking at traditional origami, and we're going to make a crab today. Now this origami does require scissors. That's how you get all the sets of legs. You wind up getting 8 sets. You get 6 back legs and then the 2 front legs. So you need the scissors to separate the paper for that, and then also at the end to create the little pincher little guys at the front too. So I would recommend probably using paper that's a little bigger because the process can get a little small as you go through things. I'm going to be using just a little bit larger paper. That's a standard size in Japan for origami paper. That's 17.5 by 17.5. And I'll let you guys know the dimensions of our crab when we're finished so you can kind of get a feel for how he looks. So we're going to start here with our paper and go ahead and start with a square base. So with my color side facing down, fold your paper in half both vertically and horizontally so that you can get a nice center mark in the middle here. Then we'll go ahead and look at the color side facing up and fold your paper in half diagonally both ways. Once you've gotten those creases marked off, then we can go ahead and look at everything with the color side facing up, find those mountain creases, and just pinch on opposite sides, get all the creases going the right way that we folded them. Just kind of push towards the center and shimmy everything around until you get this nice little diamond or square shape. So make sure you've got those open flaps pointing down, and we're going to go ahead and take the sides, fold them in, and make a nice crease here. And I'm just going to go ahead and do that for both sides here so that it's a little easier here. And then do the back as well. I think it's a little easier to do this before we open everything up and squash it down. So I'll get all these guys folded in. Open everything up. And then I'm going to take one of these sides. Make sure that that center crease is clear by pushing from left to right a couple times. Then open it up from the middle. And push down right on the center edge, which was this outer edge here. Push down on that until it becomes your center, and you smoosh everything out to reveal this nice little upside down kite. Then I'm going to just take that left flap and push it over to the right, and then we'll repeat the steps on the left flap. So again, just push it over to make sure we've got a nice clear crease in the middle. Push on that edge till it becomes the center, and smoosh it down. Return that flap to the left. Turn everything over, do the same things on this side too, so we'll just making sure you've got our crease, open everything up and smush it down, and return the flap to the right side. And once we've gotten all 4 of those done, you should have a nice little shape that looks like this with 4 flaps on either side. Then I want to go to the white flap side, so I'm just going to take my left flap and fold it to the right once. Flip it over, do the same thing on the other side. So you should have a nice section of opened little legs down at the bottom and this nice little white area that we can see at the bottom down here. Now we're going to do a petal fold down here. So if I take the outer edge, fold into the center. I'll do the same thing on this side too. Now this crease, you don't need to worry about it being exactly in the center. There might be a little bit where we're going to see a little bit of edge or white, and that's okay. Once you get both of those flaps folded over, open it up, and then we're going to take this layer and pull up so that we can lay all this flat and down. And it's good to go ahead and kind of give yourself a little pinch right there where the crease hits the edge to kind of help you along. And get it going here so that you can get a nice, as smooth as you can. You want to bring that right up to the center so that when it lays flat, it gets this nice little kite shape like so. And I'm going to wind up doing that for all of the sides here. So I could go ahead and flip it over first, and we'll do this back side here. And like I said, don't worry if things show a little bit of white there, that's okay. Get those 2 front and back done, and then just open over to the other side by flipping over a couple flaps here so we can get to the white side on both. And just repeat the steps here, and that way we'll get all 4 sides completed with a nice petal fold there. and flip it over and do the other side as well. So we get all those folded over, and then what we want to do is after we get them all folded over, I'm going to then take the little bit that we see here, and I want to actually fold over so that we're not looking at this side. We're going to look at the nice smooth red side, and I'll do this side too. What we want to do here is I'm going to take the outer edge and fold into the center here. And try to keep everything as smooth as you can when you do this. This for all the sides here. So we'll first just get both of these sides folded in. Flip it over, do this side too. Once you've gotten those two, open up to the other wide red space that we have here and repeat the steps here as well. So once you've gotten all those little flaps folded over, you're going to need your scissors for this part. What we want to do is take that flap that we just folded here, and I'm going to cut all the way up along the center crease to separate this section into two legs. Just try to get as far up there as you can. Flip it over and we'll do the other side too. And then we'll fold over these flaps so that we can get to the other side as well. Try your best not to cut the edges of the paper here if you can. That's preferably not something we want to do. But we're just going to fold over till we get to that other side here too, and then you can cut on that area as well. Let's see here, where did I? There we go, there's one. So once you get all those folded over, just make sure you've got equal parts of legs on each side. You should have 4 on each side. You should be able to separate everything this way. And then I do want to actually go ahead and fold one flap over and turn it over and fold the other flap over as well so that we can see that little part that we folded up there at the top. And now from here we're going to go ahead and take each of our layers and make our legs. So I've got one little guy here, and it's just going to be a simple folding back and bringing it up to create the leg. Now this first one probably wants to come up so that it's not, it maybe hits right between this tip and where that edge is. So kind of right in the middle there. Get that as a good angle. And I'll do this one too. Try to mirror each other if you can. And then the next one I'm just going to fold back again, making another crease. This one I'd like to kind of come out at a good angle. We want to just give it a little bit of space. You want to maybe see just a tad of that edge underneath if you can. And you can really play around with this and see what kind of like leg shapes you prefer for everything, of course, but we just want to create a nice sort of distribution of the legs here as we go around. And I'll get this, as you get down towards the bottom, the distance, these bottom ones are a little closer together than the front ones are, so these guys can kind of be, this distance can be a little less, whereas this top one was a little bit more up. So you should get something that looks like this. Hopefully trying to get almost to a nice straight line down here for those back legs. Doesn't have to be perfect, but kind of close to that. Now we're just going to do a couple of simple folds on the legs here to create more of a cool sort of feel for the legs. So we're going to do a valley crease by folding down, and you can kind of find a good spot of where you're going to fold down here, and we're just going to bring all these legs down. It's about even, this first one's about even with the little edge that you see here. So I'll just keep going with these and try to bring them down. Let me bring this one over too here first. You want to just try to keep your legs as straight as you can as you do this. You should be able to bring these guys down. And I'll do these sides too. So we get something like this. Then I'm going to take the front part, the bottom of the little extra bit of leg, and we're just going to fold up. And that's going to give us the last little bit of the shape of these legs. And really for the front claws, you know, you want that part to be a fairly good amount of space, like about 1 centimeter, I would say. But for these bottom legs, it's really just a tiny little hook that we're going to come up. So you don't really need to make it very big or significant at all. It's just a tiny fold. Just get a little of it folded up here. And then I want to take the top part here and fold down so that I'm giving myself just a tiny little bit here at the head, essentially bringing it almost down to the back side in the back there. And that should give you kind of a cool little finished look of our crab. Now, as the last little bit, I'm just going to take my scissors again, and you can cut this part here to separate it, so that you can have like 2 little claws there, if you will. And that could give you some nice little extra effect for your crab, which is the finished piece. Now, the general size of this guy is about 5 centimeters, and he's about 10 centimeters across, depending on how you do things. So 10 centimeters wide and about 5 centimeters tall. Kind of gives you an idea of the dimensions for him when you're done. That should give you your finished little crab, which is our finished project for today. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.